Coming up next, Leon Gray.
Thank you. I'm going to try to be funny since being hot's no longer an option. At least that's what I put on my Tinder profile. And the reason for that is because the older I get, the more I look like Mr. Garrison from South Park. I started college after I got out of the military, and because I was older than all of the other students, it was easier to make friends with their parents. And this one kid, Jalen, didn't like that very much. He'd always tell me, "You're not allowed to go out with my mom." Or, "Why are you in my house having breakfast?" One day he got mad and challenged me to a Mario Kart battle. But it wasn't even close. I beat him so bad that as I crossed the finish line, I dropped the controller and said, "Who's your daddy?" He said, "Not you." I said, "Not yet." Being a veteran made me less sensitive to what my classmates considered a crisis. This guy was telling me how much he loved a girl that just dumped him, and he was probably coming to me for some helpful advice. But what I told him was, if you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. And the age difference created kind of a language barrier, too. One day, a cheerleader told me, "Don't act like you wouldn't cuff this." And in hindsight, I should have checked Urban Dictionary before I replied. Because that did not mean what I thought it did. The therapist told me it was the same as that Beyonce song. I've had 3 back surgeries as a result of my time in the Air Force. And now some of you are wondering, how did he hurt himself in the Air Force? Well, I was in the Middle East, and I hit an IED with my office chair. And the VA hospital doesn't like to give out pain medication, so I went out to get a medical marijuana card. And I get there, and they've got all these different types of marijuana, and none of it has a normal name. There's one that was called Blueberry Skunk. There's Moon Rocks. There was one called Bruce Banner. Okay, forget that last one. That one actually makes sense. But I asked the doctor, "What do you recommend for chronic pain?" And he said G-Spot is really good for that. So I said, "Cool, this will be the first time I've actually found it." For the guys that weren't laughing, your girlfriend will explain that later. I do a lot of driving for Uber, and you'd be surprised how many people would rather take an Uber to the emergency room. I usually ask those people the same 2 questions. 1, you know this is a Prius, right? And 2, what's wrong with you in case I have to try to keep you alive? And sometimes I regret that second question. Like the night I learned more than I ever wanted to know about ulcerative colitis. For those of you that don't know, just think explosive diarrhea. But I told that guy I better get a tip because now I need waterproof seat covers. Okay. Let's try something else. I got a letter in the mail that had a dime glued to it. And the letter said, "This dime could buy Selena a day's worth of water." And I thought, well, why the hell did you send it to me? And then I thought, she probably wouldn't be so thirsty if you didn't make her lick all these envelopes. And I kept that dime too. I think technology has made it easier for people to embarrass themselves. I had a friend that somehow started a Facebook Live in her sleep. It was just a couple of hours of And when her alarm went off, it started playing church music. Like, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And then she woke up and I commented, Amen. You should use that on your Tinder profile. Well, we're not friends anymore. She blocked me after that. Thank you. That is all I've got tonight.
All right, Leon, well done.